Hello and welcome back to Early Years Explorers, the podcast where sticky fingers meet big ideas. I'm Afaf Zayden and today we're talking about something that's often scattered across the floor, hidden under the rug, and if you're lucky, occasionally found in the toy bin. Manipulatives, or as the cool kids, also known as early years teachers, call them, loose parts. Now, before you go stepping on another Lego and questioning your life choices, let's unpack why these little bits and bobs are actually tiny tools for big learning. Hi, and thanks for joining me. Let's dive right in with today's big question. What are manipulatives and loose parts? And why do they matter so much in our early years classrooms? In simple terms, manipulatives are hands-on materials that children can physically explore and manipulate. Yes, the clue's in the name. In my classroom, this includes everything from the classic building blocks and counting bears to buttons, bottle caps, shells, magnets, sticks, and those cardboard tubes no one ever wants to throw away. Seriously, I've seen kitchen rolls become a robot army. It's truly amazing. Now, in early childhood education, we refer to these open-ended materials as loose parts. These are the bits and bobs you'll find tucked into baskets and trays in a well-planned play space. They're items with no set purpose and no right or wrong way to use them. Think pine cones turned into cupcakes, pebbles transformed into spaceship controls, or buttons becoming treasure maps. What's incredible is watching how children naturally take the lead when using loose parts. They collaborate, problem solve, create narratives, and explore mathematical and scientific concepts without ever realizing they're actually doing learning. The idea of loose parts in play comes from Simon Nicholson's theory of loose parts, which proposed that the degree of creativity and inventiveness in an environment is directly proportional to the number and kind of variables in it. Translation: the more stuff kids have to move, stack, repurpose, rearrange, and experiment with, the more imaginative and rich their play and learning will be. Loose parts are open-ended. That means no rules, no batteries, no manuals. There's no right way to play with them. So who's in charge? It's the child. And that's exactly where the learning magic happens. According to Daly and Beloglovsky, loose parts inspire a unique kind of thinking, imaginative, problem-solving, and even theoretical. In other words, when a child is lining up sticks and calling it a rocket ship, they're not just playing, they're building brains. So next time you trip over a pile of bottle caps or see a child stuffing leaves into a shoebox with great purpose, smile. You're witnessing the early stages of engineering, storytelling, and critical thinking, just in miniature form. So yes, manipulatives and loose parts might look like a random pile of stuff to an outsider, but to our little learners, they're a launch pad for creativity, curiosity, problem solving, emotional expression, and so much more. So why are manipulatives such a big deal? Well, here's the science behind the play. Research shows that tactile, hands-on experiences are essential in early cognitive development. You might remember Jean Piaget. Yes, that guy we all studied in child psychology. He believed that young children aren't passive sponges, but active participants who build knowledge by interacting with the world around them. So when your students are lining up shells, stacking cups, or making a tower out of every block you own, they're not just keeping busy. They're constructing knowledge, literally. Need some more academic backup for those moments when somebody questions why your classroom looks like an explosion at a crafts store? Here you go. I'll give you a bit more. Clements and Sarama found that manipulatives significantly boost early math understanding, especially in spatial reasoning and number sense. So yes, those tiny plastic bears really are earning their keep. The Montessori approach, which has been doing the rounds since before your grandma was in school, relies heavily on sensorial materials, manipulatives. The idea? Children learn best by doing, not by sitting still and staring at flashcards. And of course, Daly and Beloglovsky, in their fantastic book Loose Parts Inspire Play in Young Children, argue that loose parts invite creativity, encourage problem solving, and support a deeper level of engagement. Translation: the mess is worth it. And it's not just about cognitive development. Manipulatives support fine motor skills, language development, social interaction, and even emotional regulation. I mean, have you ever handed a stressed child a tub of buttons and watched their entire mood shift? It's magical. So yes, if your classroom looks like a junk drawer met a nature walk and had babies with a recycling bin, you're probably doing it right. It's not chaos. It's constructive chaos. The kind that builds bright, curious, capable minds. And honestly, as long as it all gets tidied up and packed away at the end of the play session, I'm good with that. Because my OCD kicks in faster than a child who's been told to tidy up and suddenly forgets how to walk. Now, manipulatives aren't just cute classroom clutter. They're undercover agents of serious learning. Here's what they're really up to. Fine motor development. Think squeezing, pinching, stacking, and balancing. These little hand workouts are the foundation for pencil grip, scissor skills, and eventually, legible handwriting. Mathematical thinking. Sorting, counting, patterning, measuring. Whether they're lining up buttons like they're precious jewels or stacking cubes until gravity takes over, they're developing early numeracy skills, one wobbly tower at a time. Language development, because that stick? No, that's not a stick. That's a dragon tail, a magic wand, or sometimes a microphone for an impromptu concert. Loose parts spark storytelling, dialogue, and the occasional passionate debate over who had the special rock first. Collaboration and problem solving. Ever watched a group of 4-year-olds try to build a castle with only 5 blocks and one determined leader? That's teamwork. Negotiation, compromise, and occasionally there's a bit of a dramatic flair to that. And the beauty of it all, because manipulatives are developmentally appropriate, children don't need step-by-step instructions or adult-led outcomes. They dive in at their own level, exploring, testing, hypothesizing, and revising. Yep, that's basically the scientific method in small form. And have you noticed how seriously they take it? The concentration, the furrowed brows, the muttering under their breath as they try to balance a pine cone on top of a cardboard tube. That's not just play. That's architecture. That's engineering. That's a child-led TED Talk waiting to happen. So next time your classroom looks like an explosion in a recycling depot, take heart. You're not witnessing chaos. You're witnessing deep, joyful learning disguised as play. It's that simple. So how do we harness the power of all these magical bits and bobs without feeling like we're swimming in a sea of bottle caps and mystery sticks? Well, by keeping it simple. You don't need a Pinterest perfect classroom filled with curated, color-coordinated provocations, unless, of course, you genuinely enjoy laminating things at midnight, in which case, carry on. Knock yourself out. You're amazing. Recycling items, natural materials, fabric scraps, lids, and cardboard tubes are more than just enough. Children don't care if it's Instagram worthy. They care if they can become a spaceship, a bakery, or a pirate island. And spoiler alert, they usually can. Store it smart. Use open baskets, clear trays, and labeled tubs. Bonus points for photos, Good for you if you've got that. This gives children independence and a sense of ownership over their space. I'll admit, though, there's always that one rogue basket under the art table filled with miscellaneous treasures that defy categorization. We've all got it. Observe and reflect. The real gold mine? Watching how children engage. Are they categorizing shells by size? Are they building a zoo or creating trapdoors for unicorns? These observations give us insight into their thinking, developmental progress, and interests. Grab a notepad, snap some photos, or just quietly marvel while pretending not to eavesdrop on their hilariously detailed play scenarios. Link it into learning. Loose parts and manipulatives aren't just for free play. They can support literacy, retelling stories using blocks and figurines, math, measuring and sorting, science, exploring cause and effect, and inquiry, posing questions and creating theories. You'd be surprised how powerful it is when a child uses rocks to act out the very hungry caterpillar. It's storytelling, sequencing, and snack time all in one. And finally, when someone walks into your classroom and sees your students gleefully stacking rocks and narrating wild tales about lava monsters and magical socks, and asks, "But where's the learning?" just smile and say, "It's in the frontal lobe, my friend, right between divergent thinking and early executive function." Trust me, if you say it with confidence, they'll nod like they understood. And then you can get back to sorting the googly eyes and pom-poms that have somehow made their way into a child's pocket yet again. So, here's some closing thoughts. Manipulatives aren't just playthings. They're powerful learning tools. In the hands of young children, they become bridges to understanding, platforms for creativity, and launch pads for communication. They empower our learners to explore, discover, and express themselves in authentic, developmentally appropriate ways. Loose parts don't come with batteries, Wi-Fi, or flashing lights. They don't beep or talk or sing in 12 different languages. But what they do is offer far more valuable endless possibilities, open-ended thinking, and the chance for children to truly take the lead. In my classroom, I've seen a single cardboard box become a rocket ship, a market stall, a veterinary table, a bear cave, all in one day sometimes. That's not just play. That's problem solving, language building, social negotiation, and creative thinking rolled into one. So let's continue to honor play, embrace the mess, and keep asking ourselves what children are showing us through their creations. Because behind every stick and string pulley system or bottle cap mosaic is a brain hard at work, testing theories, building knowledge, and growing confidence, one playful moment at a time. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a group of preschool engineers constructing a rain machine out of yogurt lids and string. And yes, it's dripping everywhere. And yes, it's totally worth it. Thanks for tuning in to Early Years Explorers. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review or send us a photo of your classroom's favorite loose part setup. Be sure to follow and share this episode with a fellow educator who loves inspiring creativity and hands-on learning. Until next time, keep playing, keep exploring, and keep celebrating those bright young minds. Bye for now.